This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, council. I call to order this Haslett City Council meeting August 3rd, 2026 at 7:02 p.m. There is a quorum present. If you'll bow your head with me, I offer an invocation, then stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, Almighty Father, for your many blessings. We thank you for all things. We pray that you continue your blessings on this city, your blessings on this state, and your blessing on the United States of America. We ask that you bless the talks going on between the United States and Iran at this time. All these we pray in Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. We go to item 3, citizen participation and comments. Do we have any?
Yes, we do.
That would like to speak? Do we have in person? Let's take the in person
Yes.
first.
Carol Clark.
And who is that?
Carol Clark.
Miss Clark, please.
It's up here on the screen.
That's it? Oh, yay, thank you. Carol Clark, 117 Schreiber Drive. Greetings, City Council members and Mayor. As you are all aware, a survey of residents was conducted concerning the bridge over the Avondale-Haslett Road railroad tracks. I did not create this survey, but I was a distributor of it. The survey was actually created by a longtime Haslett City resident. Also worth noting is that no City Council members were involved with this survey. The utmost care was taken to ensure the survey was unbiased and open to all residents over the age of 18 who lived in zip code 76052, and it was distributed via social media. It gave a short overview of both bridges that was taken directly from documentation provided by NCTCOG and/or was presented in City Council meetings. It asked for residents' names and addresses, bridge choice, short, long bridge, or undecided. It asked how frequently they drove that road and if they had any pertinent comments regarding their particular choice. The results of the survey were not manipulated in any fashion. Note that there were a few inputs where the address and or name fields were blank. For the record, the results of the survey were 835 verified signatures, 835 verified residents, 257 Haslett City, and 578 Fort Worth residents. Of the 257 Haslett City residents, 174 were for the short bridge, 72 were for the long bridge, and 11 were undecided. Of the 578 Fort Worth City residents, 391 were for the short bridge, 158 for the long bridge, and 29 were undecided. These results have been emailed to the City Administrator, Mr. Ashton, for distribution to Council, to the Mayor, and to the lawyer. They were also posted on social media. Lastly, they were shared with NCTCOG. I'd like to mention that Saturday's budget workshop. I want to express my appreciation to City Council for diligently and meticulously reviewing the Mayor's draft budget. In spite of all the obstacles and challenges presented, Council persevered, and I feel confident this year's budget will reflect the best interests of the City of Haslett residents. In closing, there are 270 days until Haslett City residents get the opportunity to vote for a new mayoral candidate. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Clark. Do we have another speaker?
Yes, we do. Kitty Wirtz.
Ms. Wirtz.
Thank you, Council and Mayor, for allowing me to speak tonight. I will be brief. I would like to commend the City Council with their focus and maintaining their composure on the budget meetings, which on Saturday lasted almost 11 hours of excruciating and detailed work. Mayor put you through. I commend you guys for all the work that you did there. And I know there's still yet a lot more to be done. I also wanted to make the citizens aware of social media posts that have been posted today of the mayor working deals behind the scenes with developers for warehouses in the city proper of Hazlet. One specifically is to the west side of the city, and it is over 1 million square foot in size. I hope the citizens get involved and understand what is going on in the city and come up and voice their concerns and what wishes they have. Because things are happening behind the scenes that the council was not even made aware of. So please, citizens, get involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wirtz. Do we have another speaker?
None in person, but we do have an email.
Please go ahead.
This is from Christine Gross. I'm writing as a resident of Hazlet to formally register my strong opposition to any zoning changes, permits, or approvals that would allow data centers to be built within or near our residential areas. While I understand the appeal of expanding our city's tax base, placing massive industrial data infrastructure next to our neighborhoods directly contradicts Hazlet's core identity. Our city brands itself as a community that offers a vibrant small-town charm with a high quality of life. Massive windowless concrete warehouses do not belong next to the backyards of families who moved here precisely to escape heavy industrial landscapes. Furthermore, data centers present stark environmental and economic contradictions for our community. Noise pollution. Data centers require massive industrial-grade cooling fans and backup diesel generators that run continuously. This creates a persistent low-frequency hum that disrupts sleep, lowers quality of life, and shatters the peace of nearby neighborhoods. Property values. Homeowners invest their life savings into Hazlet to live in a quiet, attractive community. Turning adjacent land into an industrial tech zone will inevitably depress residential property values, forcing local families to bear the financial burden of this zoning mismatch. Resource strain. These facilities consume millions of gallons of water and immense amounts of electricity. At a time when Texas residents are routinely asked to conserve energy and water, dedicating vital local resources to cool server racks instead of supporting community growth is a major contradiction. Minimal job growth. Despite their massive physical footprint, data centers are highly automated and create a very few permanent local jobs once construction is complete. The long-term economic return to our citizens does not justify the permanent destruction of our residential buffers. Development should never come at the expense of the citizens who build this community. I urge the City Council to protect our homes, our quiet neighborhoods, and our property values by rejecting any data center proposals near residential zones. Please keep Hazlet a community focused on families, not heavy technology infrastructure. Thank you for your time, your leadership, and your service to our city.
Thank you. Do we have any other? Ms. Babcock, do we have any other?
We do not.
Do we have anybody online?
No, sir.
Pardon?
No, sir.
Thank you. All right, with that, I'll close the participation and comments. Let's go to item 4, items of community interest. 4A, city is accepting applications for boards and commissions. To apply, please submit an application through the city's website. 4B, all city offices will be closed Monday, September the 7th, 2026, in observance of Labor Day. National Night will be held Tuesday, October the 6th, 2026, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the community park. Visit our website for more information, but please come out. It's always a great event. Movie in the Park, featuring GOAT, capital G-O-A-T. I'm not sure if that stands for a real goat or not, but it'll take place on Friday, October the 9th, 2026 at Nance Field. The movie will begin at dark. Visit the website again for more information. The city will be hosting a brush and limbs drop-off on Saturday, November the 7th, 2026, from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. at 791 Schoolhouse Road. That is the entrance into the public works site off Schoolhouse Road. Let's go to items or updates on active items, projects, and event recaps. Mr. Tucker. We have fire station expansion project, Nance Field paving, groundwater remediation, and driveway reconstruction on Maxwell Circle.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Next slide, if you will. Just a few quick updates. The notable update for the fire station is they've completed the mold remediation work. They're waiting on an inspection report to verify that that has all been taken care of as planned, but they believe they've gotten all that done, and they're still, as they're working on interior finish out. I think they're even starting to put electrical plug out covers, things like that on. The furniture for that building is set to arrive in September, and they're anticipating a moving date in October. So just that's the most current update for that site. They're also doing a sidewalk that's coming. That's going in. There's lots of finish out and a lot of interior work being done. Let's see. Another picture of just some of the remediation work as they did it, where they had it sealed off. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. All right. The next item here is Nance Field paving project.
Mr. James,
Yes, sir.
may I ask a quick question? Concerning the expansion of the firehouse, will there be some sort of a reception or any kind of public event that celebrates its opening? Do we know?
Yes, I can answer that.
Okay.
We will have a grand opening. It has not been announced.
Okay.
We'll have a firm commitment when finish of construction is done to
Right.
have that grand opening.
Okay.
And that's what we're waiting, and Mr. Rogers is on top of that.
Okay, thank you.
For Nance Field here, as you can see, they've pretty much finished everything down to the sod being laid and being watered. There was a small mishap where somebody had driven into the sod area that will be redone. We'll be out there within the week to address that. That was it was a porta potty company servicing one, and they mistakenly drove out there, so that was caught, and they will be repairing that. Fencing, I believe, is complete. There may be a couple little ties or little things there, but besides that, we are just waiting to get grass to grow, but it is substantially complete at this point.
Yeah, just make sure on the south side of that parking lot there, we're gonna put the curbs.
The wheel stops. Wheel stops? Yes, sir, yeah. That does need to happen as well.
James,
Yes.
I know baseball, softball season starting. Perhaps I think next week or two. I think baseball season will be starting pretty soon too. With this sod being freshly laid, is there any talks about putting anything up so that kids aren't running around tearing up the sod and messing it up, or is that something we can maybe put something up for like 2 or 3 weeks to kind of let it, grow in?
We can look at some options there. I mean, we could do some signage. We could attempt to put up some fencing. I can look into that. That's a good.
Okay.
Keep kids off. I mean, that's
So once-
always a challenge, but we can look at.
Yeah, once they have practicing games, kids will be running all over that, and I'm sure it's not rooted in yet, so it'll probably be a few weeks.
I'll send out something to HSA and have them distribute that to all the coaches. That way they can help us out with that.
Okay.
We'll try to get some signage, and we'll look at if there's any other thing that would do to help keep them off that area. That's a good point.
Okay, thank you.
Next slide, if you will. That's just another pictures of it. All right. The next one is the Maxwell Circle, the groundwater remediation and driveway reconstruction. So Canary Construction, I had the last update and pictures from them. They have completed all that water mitigation. That area has dried up. There was 3 water leaks that were also discovered. One was new and just happened, but they were very small, and Aqua Texas has addressed those. So almost everything is completely dried as expected out there. They did 2 driveways for that one company as a part of that was in that area affected, and they're also currently establishing grass. They are out there watering it. Capco is the second contractor that's tasked with the remainder portion of that. They're set to mobilize on the 18th. We did have a pre-construction meeting on site, and they met with all the property owners just to make sure expectations were what they should be, and looking out though that 18th they should be starting on that, and that project is not expected to take long. I mean, grass establishment is the longest aspect of it. Next slide. The City Hall Fire Station generators, we have technically the project start date was the July 20th. They have a end date in mind of December 1st, and those same delivery schedules I gave last time. So that's when the actual physical generators will arrive, which is August 13th and October 26th. And right now, they've just been locating and exposing utilities and preparing that pad site. So they're just getting areas ready for boring for City Hall here, looking for gas lines, things like that. Next slide, if you will. And then we have just started we awarded that at the last council meeting, but we've started our pump station improvement project. So that pre-construction meeting was held on July 27th. The official start date is today on the 3rd, and they're given a 365 days for completion, and I think 405 days was the technical for final acceptance. And what they're planning on it, based on that pre-construction meeting, they're already starting to mobilize. So you'll see equipment appearing on site. Their first task is they're going to be basically doing some temporary fencing as they take down the existing. We do have to maintain security since it is a public infrastructure there, and for water, we have to make sure that's safe. So they will be opening fences but putting back temporary. Their intention right off is to take down the ground tank that's pictured there on the left. If you've seen it lately, there's sections of it already starting to come down on its own. It was in pretty bad disrepair. It's been out of service for at least 8 months. Once they do that, they'll have removal of soil, and then they'll be prepping for that new 1 million gallon ground storage tank. So that's what you should see them doing at least over the next 6 weeks. It's not in ground, it's on the ground, it's not elevated. So they will be removing quite a bit of soil there and replacing it with much more stable. So a lot of that fatty clay, they call it, is coming off that side. They dispose of that, and they'll be bringing dirt back and forth.
And it'll go in the same spot, the same footprint?
It will not go in the same footprint. It's going to be the same height and elevation as the tank to the right, but that is only, I believe, a 250,000 tank, and it's going to be 1 million, so the footprint is much wider. It's going to go much farther back. It will be in the same location, but that diameter is significantly larger. And once they start moving trucks in, there will be some traffic control done, so they will provide us with a traffic control plan, but they'll have adequate signage for trucking coming and going, and they will be observing the working hours. We've also notified the property owner that's mostly impacted, and we've done as much as we can to make that as smooth as possible, but that's exciting to see that finally taking shape there. Slide, if you will. That was all. Oh, that was it? Okay.
Mayor.
Mr. James?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor.
We had over here.
I just had a question. I'm not sure if it's for you or Crystal. Is there a reason we don't include these slideshows on the agenda for people that can't attend to be able to click on them, review them?
We could provide them after the fact. Typically, a lot of the pictures, I get them the same day of this meeting, so they're relevant. I find if we turn them in by the submission date, most likely have already seen everything that I'd be including. We could provide them early if that's the desire. We're trying to give the most up to date just so it's something you hadn't already seen, but I don't believe we could.
Yeah, no, I looked back at the last few meetings. I didn't see it attached even after the fact. I don't need to see it before, but I think it'd be good for residents that can't make it to these meetings to be able to view these, because it is kind of hard to see even when you click into YouTube. So Crystal or James, whoever does that, if we can at least include them after the meeting, I think that would be great. Even if it's once we post official minutes, however that works out.
I'll submit them to the city secretary so they're available. I don't know if there's any complication with including them after the fact or.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Mr. James, before you sit down, I had asked that the Public Works Building be also be on here so that we can get regular updates on that. Do you have anything to add about the Public Works Building process?
Am I allowed to give an update on that one since it wasn't on here, or?
Go right ahead, but council, please understand, if it's not on this agenda, it doesn't get spoke to.
I've asked for 3 agendas in a row.
Well, that was a failure somewhere.
Okay.
We can work on that where that failure was, but I'm sure it wasn't intentional.
I'm sure it wasn't, so
But
that's why I'm just asking.
I would imagine there is nothing to report. Maybe some drawings have further along, but nonetheless, please understand that even these update items, it is required to be listed, just like any other item to be discussed, considered, and act. So the public is aware it's going to be addressed. So with that, I'm not going to go against Texas Open Meeting Act. Please follow up with Mr. Tucker after the meeting.
So I've asked for it to be on the agenda 3 different times, and it's not on there. Do you know why it hasn't
I
been
don't
on there?
manage the agenda.
May I address that?
Sure.
The discussion was to have it once a month, so it is scheduled to be on the August 17th meeting for an update.
Okay, because I don't think it was on the last one either.
It was.
There was.
We gave an update on the last one.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So it is coming up next council meeting.
Yes, sir.
And is the desire to have it every meeting?
I think it was once a month.
We've said every other meeting.
If we're still kind of on the slow roll with it, I mean, there's not a lot happening is what I mean, then once a month is probably fine for now, until we get
Our intention.
a higher level of activity on it.
Yeah, our understanding was we were doing it once a month. We did do it one at the previous one. We had talked about the potential of adding a road access, and we were going to have one at the second meeting. So.
Okay, thank you. And then can we also, on these updates, can we get more information about roads put on here as well, so that we're hearing about those regularly? I don't know who I'm asking, but can we get regular updates on Avondale-Hazlitt/Bridge? That's not on here today, right? And it usually is. And Blue Mound. Okay, thank you.
All right, with that, thank you, council. Let's go to the consent agenda. I would make a statement in that comment was made to me that some of these items, there is no content in the SR26 type PDF links. One specifically that I've been told was the item 6D. So would you click on that, and is there any content in there?
I believe it's in our folder.
Is there any letter in there?
In our folder at the dais.
Well, it is there for, the purpose of this is for public view. And this is not on there.
Our engagement letter is protected by attorney-client privilege, so that's why it was not included in the agenda packet, but it was previously distributed to the full council about a month ago, and it's also a physical hard copy is on the dais for each of you.
I would, in the future, if the item is protected by attorney-client privilege, state so in the agenda item report, such as here.
We can do that.
And that would go for any other item.
Mayor Halsey.
Excuse me, just a minute. Is Vail and Park included? Yes, we do evidently have a engagement letter. If you go back and check the item above that. Very good. All right then. So the public has access to that. They can inspect that and make any comment that they so desire. That's the whole purpose of this. All right, council, consent agendas to you.
Mayor Halsey.
Yes.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted.
Motion is made to approve the consent agenda as amended. or as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
There is a second. All in favor? It's unanimous. Public hearings, ordinances, resolution, and action items. 7A, hold a public hearing, discuss, consider, and act on the proposed City of Haslett operating budget for fiscal year 2026 to 2027. There is no particular presentation. The budget has been posted on the website for 16, maybe 17 days for public inspection in preparation for this public hearing. So at this time, at 7:28 p.m., I open this public hearing. Is anyone in the chambers who would like to speak to this item? Is there anybody online who would like to speak to this item?
No, sir.
Very good. Oh, I close the public hearing at 7:28 p.m. Council, discuss, consider, and act your options. And the statute says you shall act. You can dismiss or reject the budget. And we know that you have ongoing workshops. You had this one last Saturday and another one coming Saturday to propose and present a budget for fiscal year 26-27 on, I believe it, August 17th is when you will adopt a budget.
Mayor Halsey?
Yes.
I would like to make a motion to postpone the final action on the budget to the August 17th council meeting, and then to direct staff to present to the council at the 17th a final budget with the requested modifications from the August 1st and August 8th budget workshops.
Motion is made to postpone any action on the budget for fiscal year 26-27 until August 17th, and direct staff to prepare that budget from the input of the August 1st and August 8th budget workshops. Did I get that correct?
Just the requested modifications.
The requested modifications.
Sounds good.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
There's a second. Any discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you, council. 7B, discuss, consider, and act on an agreement with Hilltop Securities Asset Management, LLC, to perform arbitrage calculation for the City of Haslett's tax-exempt obligation. Ms. Lamb.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a new service that we haven't ever had use of before, and even though it's not large monetarily, I wanted y'all to be familiar with what this agreement is, what arbitrage is. When we issue tax-exempt obligations and we invest the proceeds from those obligations, the interest rate we receive is not supposed to exceed the yield on the bonds that we issue. So that's usually not a real big concern because cities can't really invest in a lot of real high interest investments because we have to follow the prudent investor rule. So most of our investments are bank investments or CDs in a sweep account, or they're full faith and credit of either the state of Texas or federal government, so the interest rates are low because they are tax exempt. Our bonds are subject to the rules of Securities and Exchange Commission, and they require issuing tax-exempt bonds that you don't issue them and sit on them and earn a bunch of interest, because if you do that, then they're going to ask you to pay some of that back. So the difference between the interest you earn and the yield on the bonds is what they call arbitrage. So there's some extensive calculations that need to be performed. They take into account the spin down rate, They take into account how long you've had the investments outstanding, of course, what the rates are, compare those to the rates of the bonds that we issued. They look at different timelines and have different calculation periods that they meet. And this is what we're asking for you to consider tonight, is to enter an agreement with Hilltop Securities Asset Management to perform these calculations. This agreement is for 5 years, and it will, in this first year, they may do more than one calculation to get caught up. The bonds that they're going to be looking at are certificates of obligation from 2022. If you'll remember, that was a pretty large issue, 17 plus million. The other bonds they'll be looking at are the bonds that were issued for PID number 5, which is the Laterra PID. They have 2 different bond issues on that PID. Those, city acts as the collector of the revenues for that, but we are not the paying agent for that. We send those funds to Wilmington Bank and Trust, which is the trustee bank for those issues. So the trustee bank has been investing those funds on behalf of the PID. I'm not really privy to what they're investing in. I do get reports, and I know how much the interest earning is and everything, but we'll have the calculations performed on their behalf since we act as their collection agent. The PIDs will be paying for that expense, and the city will not bear that expense. So the agreement that we have will cover both of those issues. The other issues that we have outstanding, most of those were considered to be small issuer obligations, and so they're not going to require the same calculations. This agreement will cover the existing bonds, and then should the city issue any other bonds or debt within the next 5 years, they'll be included in this service. Is there any questions?
Yes, what is the amount of
Thank you. What is the amount of the agreement?
The agreement, their per calculation, yes.
Is it on, do we know what page it's on?
Go to the agenda item report.
That's the very last
First page.
page. It's $1,600 for each calculation period fee. Should they find that we would need to, unfortunately, reimburse the IRS, which is hopefully not the case.
7B.
They'll do additional services for $3,000 to prepare all those documents to make those rebate payments. I will mention that the interest we've earned to date on those bonds is $2,956,292. The interest that we get to keep, we can use for other like projects that are similar to what we issued the bonds for. So we're hoping that they don't have anything that we need to refund. Hilltop had told us when we issued those bonds that normally even if we were in that danger zone, that the city would more than likely still be able to retain 75% of the interest. So if that were true, we would be able to maintain and keep $2.2 million. So it's important that we find out where we are. And that way when we're going through future budgets, we'll know if we have additional monies to spend on water and sewer or street projects.
Well, I'd like to make a note also in either way. If we pay any money back, we're not losing any money. All the interest earned on all of these bonds goes into our general fund. That is by statute. So, very good, thank you. So it looks like this is proposed at $5,000 at this time for this fiscal year.
That's what we've budgeted in this
Yes.
year, and included the same for next year.
Very good.
Mayor,
Yes.
just asking a question. So did the city do anything wrong in this? Are we late to checking things out, or is this all pretty standard?
No, they were issued in 2022. I think you have a requirement at least by the 5th year to have this calculation done. We wanted to get ahead of it a little bit and make sure we've expended a lot on the street side of things. We're still holding some investment on the water sewer side, so I just wanted to be a little more proactive to make sure that, because we've got several large projects, we want to use all the interest money that we can. So they may have a year or two that they want to perform calculations. If they see anything that is alarming, they'll probably go ahead and do some additional work.
So does that mean we pulled for the bond, and excuse my verbiage, but did we pull for the bond too early? Is that kind of what we're saying here? We're sitting on the funds a little too long?
That could come into play, yes. I don't know that we issued them too early. The projects were not what they call shovel ready, but we did issue when we were still mostly in the design phase, and although we can recoup those design costs, we're not into construction, which we're just now getting construction, as Mr. Tucker said, on the pump station. The generators are pretty large expenditures in those projects, so I'm not sure where we're going to land. Like I say, it depends on, we've been in a fairly volatile interest rate environment, and although we don't invest in the stock market and those types of fluctuations don't hit the investments we have, still would affect the yield of those bonds. So
Okay.
The only item that, I'm just adding to it, the only item really with regard to that, if you want to look at, did we go a little early, is the pump station that you just got an update on. That pump station was, well, I believe it's at, was it $5.7 million? But we probably borrowed, or in that bond at $6 million. And that has been sitting there for almost 3 years. So that one item, but may have contributed, but there's nothing quote unquote wrong that was done or in penalty of anything. It's just that money's been sitting there, we've been drawing interest on it, and we can only draw so much interest. And we would have to return the excess back.
So did we intentionally pull the bond a little early to pull interest?
No, engineering thought they would be a little farther along than what they are now.
Thank you.
May I have a motion? Oh, unless there's any other questions.
As mayor, I'd like to make a motion on this, that we approve the agreement with Hilltop Securities Asset Management, LLC, to perform arbitrage calculations for the city of Hazlet, taxes and obligations in the amount of $5,000 for next fiscal year.
Motion is made to approve the Hilltop Securities Asset Management agreement to perform arbitrage calculations and an amount of $5,000 budgeted for the fiscal year 26-27. Is there a second?
Yes, I'll second.
There is a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, council. Item 7C, discuss, consider, and act on a resolution for an amended project of the Hazlet Community and Economic Development Corporation, B, board for the replacement of playground equipment and safety fall zone coverings at the community park. It was tabled from the June 1st, 2026 meeting and June 15th, 2026 regular city council meetings. First, I would need to have a motion to untable this item.
I had a quick question, Mayor Halsey. The Parks Board meets on August 12th, so if we wanted to continue this to the August 17th, would we not untable it and it would just go to the next meeting? Or do we need to make that table it again? Okay, I make a motion to untable item 7C.
Motion is made to untable item 7C. Is there a second?
A second.
There is a second. All in favor? Unanimous? All right, to the item itself.
Now, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
may I make a motion to table this item until our next council meeting?
Yes, please, go ahead.
I second.
I don't understand the wisdom behind all of that.
But she just
The
said the Parks Board
Board-
hasn't had a chance to consider the,
I think it's going to be on
Was
the,
tabled and you're tabling it again?
Yes,
You
'cause
just
it's on the-
voted to
on
untable?
the 12th. It's going back to the Parks Board, and they plan, I hope, to make a decision, so we'll know which playground company they're going to use, and then we
So
can
you're
make
tabling it to a specific date?
Yes.
August 7th, well,
the next council meeting.
This was tabled to this date, and so now we'll untable it and retable
Very
it. to-
good. I understand.
Thank you.
So, made a motion to table this. There was a second?
Me.
All right, here's a second. Any discussion? Okay, again, I'm going to repeat that motion. Motion has been made to table this item till the August 7th City Council meeting. 17th. Thank you very much. There's a value of restating it. So to the August 17th meeting. All in favor? Unanimous? Thank you. Item 7D, discuss, consider, and act to award a contract to Level 1 Paving Incorporated for a pavement repair in the North Glen subdivision in the amount of $35,900. Mr. Tucker.
Mayor and council, this is for a pavement repair. As it says in North Glen, there's right there on Wimberley Drive, there's a section of pavement that has failed and it needs to be basically removed and repoured. The request to council, this is going to be coming out of our street R&M, so the money is already accounted for in our R&M budget, but just given the amount, it requires council approval to move forward with it. We did ask for three quotes from other contractors we've used previously, and engineering did provide a repair detail, and basically it's a little more depth than the standard repair, because we're going to be removing 6 feet, well, up to 6 feet of subgrade, given the amount that this area is just impacted with lots of water. So it's very similar to what we've done in some other areas where, for whatever reason, water is gathering in here. We did, prior to doing this, we basically potholed all services, that we ran cameras through the sewer line. We looked for any kind of sign of any other reason why they're getting water, and we believe this is just groundwater that's impacting that area. So they would cut this out, remove the pavement, remove 6 feet of subgrade. I mean, they don't, if they find that it's better, and before they get to 6, they won't have to remove the entire amount. But the intention is 4 to 6 feet of that. They will replace it with a much thicker rock that will allow water to kind of filter through it, but also be able to compact and be solid, and they'll repave on top of it. The actual amount of it is $35,900 for the repair. And then we were asking for a contingency just in case we get there, we find that there's either more that needs to be excavated, or if there's another failure there, just so we didn't have to come back to ask again. And then as far as for the shutdown, we did look at doing this shutdown in 2 different ways. We anticipated doing a partial half-lane shutdown and switch. The timing and the cost of that is a little prohibitive. It would roughly cost, a little less than double of that if we did 2 pours, and it would take twice as long. So the request is that we want to shut down that entrance. They would utilize the, basically make a block around that. That is the main connection through there, but it could be done in a much shorter time frame. It would be anticipated to be reopened on the 18th for traffic. And if there was an opportunity to do it sooner, they will. Level 1, who we're asking to award it, is available to start this on as early as this Thursday.
Very good. I have a comment. So you will put this on the website as a notice?
Oh, we would.
That road will be shut down and some estimated period of time.
Correct. We would put that on the news flash. We put it on the website. I have tried to reach out to the HOA just so they could be aware that this was a potential to happen. I've also reached out to the school district. As far as for bus scheduling, they said it would cause no issue with bus pickup locations. They pick up at each end of the street. So they tentatively put that in there. And if we didn't move forward, I would let them know. But they intend to advise the bus route to understand that they won't be able to go straight down that for that time frame. And I think there was one special needs pickup, and they said that would not pose a problem as well. So,
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Mr. James, thank you very much for considering the school bus routes and the impacts that are about to happen with the school restarting. I appreciate that.
yeah, our intention was to have gotten it done before. It took longer than anticipated to come up with that solution and verify there wasn't another cause. We hated that it happened to hit here, and we were hoping they could get this done. There's a very slight possibility they would, but because can't guarantee that. We typically try on these things to reach out to the school, public, that's, trash service, mail service, and school. So it doesn't always happen that way, but that is always our intention.
Really appreciate it.
Two quick questions. Do you have a map of where this is at? I mean, just in case somebody from Northland's watching, just.
Can you look at, I think there is one maybe on design plan.
Oh, I can't click.
Second to open up here. Slow to open.
Wimberley's is the main entrance, main
Yeah,
road.
it is.
It's-
So people will still be able to access up to it. It will only block one driveway. We previously spoke with that resident, and he understands that during that time he will have to park either on there, but I think he said he could work out with his neighbor to park there. So we've worked that out. It will have anybody that needs to go past that, which I think is 220 or 226. So anybody past that would have to go around on that first street, I think it's Broadmoor. So it is a little bit inconvenient to go around, but it's a very short amount of time. And otherwise, it would take a considerably longer amount of time. And it's not, given the fact that we're moving 6 feet of material, it would be better. It would be much better fixed to do all that at one time and do one pour.
How long have we known? How long have we known about this issue? Like, has this been going on?
It
It's
has.
taken 6 feet out of the ground. That seems like something's been going on for a good while.
Yeah, so this little area here, it started with even several neighbors were seeing lots of groundwater in their areas. They did some curb cuts to get drainage moving out of there. We thought at first that it was most likely coming from telecommunication conduits. We traced as many of those as possible to see. We had Tri-County come out, and we had AT&T, and they did plug several conduits, and that didn't really show any difference there. And so slowly we started seeing movement in the pavement. We did put a metal plate there. That way it was safe to drive over. And like I said, we did as much due diligence as possible. There's always a possibility when it's removed, we'll find a leak in a service line or something, but the best we can tell, there is no leaking utility. There's no conduit that's providing a pathway for it. It appears to be just groundwater that's coming up there. And we've had successful repairs with this in sweetgrass, but the vines. So we feel good about this type of repair. Usually just getting that material out, getting a thicker rock in there, something that can be compacted but still allow natural filtration. We feel like this will be a good fix for it. And I'd almost prefer if we found another cause while we're there, but this seems to be the best path going forward, and engineering supported this as a repair.
James, for the traffic mitigation, are you guys going to be putting up a roadblock for like close to through traffic right at the Wimberley and Glenbrook street corner? Because we don't want people going all the way
Correct,
down
yes.
and then having to turn around in the driveways, the Amazon drivers, all that stuff.
Yes, we will post all that to the news flash. They will also have the signage there. They'll have actual barricades right there in the area that they're working in, but they'll have preemptive to try to deter traffic from going down there. You'll never stop everybody, because lots of times
No, 'cause there's people
wants
that
to
live
do it
there.
Well, the people that live there for sure. Often you'll still have the handful of people that want to verify that it's really closed, but we will do what we can to show that That's the intention.
I will suggest that some form of a roadblock be right at that Wimberley and Glenbrook entrance, just because I know that community, and if a lot of people start going down there, it's going to be bad for all those houses right at the front as people try to turn around. It's not a very wide street. It's just a suggestion, and maybe some detour signs for those confused.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There will be in the very beginning on each of those streets that shows that there is no through access.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right, council, unless there's any more questions, may I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the award to contract to Level 1 Paving for a pavement repair in the North Glen subdivision in the amount of up to $47,900. I need to break it out.
Let me clarify that. I'll clarify your motion and correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
The motion is made to award the paving contract to Level 1 Paving for the repair on North Glen subdivision in the amount of $35,900. And then also to approve an additional $12,000 as contingency for Public Works to administer as needed should additional costs are encountered.
You got it. Perfect.
Very good.
The only thing I would add would be the funding source.
Oh,
Well, the funding comes out of the Fund
Streets
20
repair and maintenance.
road, no, it's what?
This is our
the
Streets repair.
R&M, that's correct, your R&M budget.
okay. Adding a statement for the funding source from Street RN 01-7710-04-00.
That's correct.
I'll second that.
Very good. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, council.
Thank you, council.
Item 7E, discuss, consider, and act on the interlocal agreement for between Tarrant County and the city of Haslett for rehabilitation surfacing to be performed on Maxwell Road and Bain Road. Mr. Rogers. I thought it was going to be Mr. Tucker again.
No, he doesn't want to do this one.
Please, go ahead.
Well, good evening, Mayor and Council. Yes, this is kind of our annual thing with Tarrant County where we do projects with them. This one, though, is kind of different with the Maxwell Road because that's actually a part of finishing out our permit with Tarrant County for allowing us to install the sewer line around the circle. Part of that agreement with them was to work with them and fund part of the reconstruction. The road was to that stage of needing it, and so we are paying for the materials for doing this job. That's what that project is to do, and finally finish out that sewer project completely. We're done. Don't have anything else to do with those guys. And that one's in the capital budget for roughly about $385,000. County always comes in lower, but we always like to have plenty of money with them just in case they run into something crazy out there. Now, this kind of a project with the county, they usually start after most of the rush hour morning is gone, before they actually start. They always leave the road passable during the end of the day. When they leave around 3 o'clock, they make sure the road is still passable so everybody can get in and out. They always make sure that that's done. We do our normal thing on this project where we help them with any traffic control, any things like that they need out there. That's kind of our job here for them. That's the main one for that one. The Bain Road is to repair about 1,500 feet that is in sorely needing repair. It's 500 feet east and west of Virginia Lane and the intersection. That area is to be just milled up, base fluffed into it, stabilized, and a new surface put back down to get that back into some driving shape, take care of all the ruts and alligator cracking that's happened through that section. That's where the vast majority of the water on the top of the hill in Uwike goes down. This is the part of the neighborhood that the water runs through. So that's pretty much why that section of road wears out more often. It's just so much water running through there. That one's estimated to cost about $120,000. And again, they do the same thing. They know school stuff is going on. They will mill and do the stuff during the middle of the day after rush hour is over with and put it back enough to where people can pass through it that afternoon before they leave.
Let me ask a question here. I didn't see it in here in the agreement, nor is it on the agenda cover page. Is the amount of this agreement? How much is that?
The whole agreement should be,
So how much will we authorize?
we have, they're two separate ones. One, the Maxwell is $385,000, and the one for Bain Road is basically $120,000. So they're two separate kind of deals.
All right, so it's two separate ones. One is $385, which is Maxwell, and Bain Road is how much?
$120,000.
$120,000. All right. I would ask that those who prepare these agendas, and that includes department heads, is that you state that on these agenda item reports, how much, and then also include where it is coming. So, thank you. Good presentation. I'm glad we're finally here. These have been ongoing for quite some time. I'm very happy that we're at this point.
Time to get them done.
All right, council.
So you were talking about Bain Road. That's pretty far from Maxwell. So that Bain goes north and south. So that
It's
way up on
east, that east-west section up there. In
the east-west. Okay.
It is two different projects under one ILA.
Yeah.
I understand. I was asking what part of Bain Road is he talking about? That's all. That's what I was asking.
You turn up on Bain, it's that east-west roadway there in Huey.
Oh, okay. I got you. Okay.
Mayor Halsey.
Yes, ma'am.
So the funding source is from capital that was budgeted last year?
Fund 20.
Fund 20.
Fund 20 is doing Bain, and 26 is Maxwell.
Okay. Then I'm prepared to make a motion if.
Please.
Okay. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the interlocal agreement between Tarrant County and the City of Haslett for rehabilitation and resurfacing to be performed on Maxwell Road and Bain Road. Maxwell for the amount of $385,000 from Fund 20, and Bain Road the amount of $120,000 from Fund 26. Oh, opposite?
Other way around. Bain is 20 and
Sorry.
Maxwell 26.
Reverse that, please. So Bain is Fund 20 and Maxwell is Fund 26.
Understood. Motion is made to approve this ILA with Tarrant County for the Maxwell Road resurfacing and also Bain Road. For Maxwell, it is in the amount of $385,000 from Fund 26 and $120,000 for Bain Road from Fund 20. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
There is a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, I just have a question. I'm trying to understand the Fund 20, the Fund 26, because I'm looking at last year's budget. I see it on the capital requests. It doesn't specify that it's coming from, where would we see that in the budget? Sorry.
Fund 20 is in the special revenue funds. And I believe it's in the current year, 25-26 column up for 200,000 for Bain.
I see it in the capital projects. I was just trying to find it.
Just past the Park Improvement Fund.
But I don't see 26, I guess, was.
26 is back in your
All the way in the
capital obligation projects.
But yes, it is here, because we have it up to 200,000 for Bain, so it came
26
in.
is where?
I'm sorry?
Where's 26 at?
In the back in the capital.
Oh, okay, separate item. I just saw them at the front in the capital overlay, but it wasn't stating where it's from. I got it. Thank you.
Very good. So there's been a motion and a second.
Yeah, so Dave, one other question.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, one other question. So this, on the Maxwell Court, this road resurfacing, this all ties back to the whole sewer extension project.
Sanitary
correct?
sewer
So this,
extension all the way up to the fire station.
this finishes up really the last piece of that major project, right?
Yes, sir.
And then obviously, we've got the manpower and equipment to, do all this relocating of manholes, utilities. Do we see any big issues with?
No,
that piece of
they
it?
don't anticipate any, but just in case, if there's a valve that needs to be, our guys will go out there and raise it up, and then they'll put in the stuff, put the asphalt around it.
Okay, no, that'd be good to get that done. Thank you.
Yes, it will be.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mayor. We're not seeing it in the Fund 26.
Pam, will you come up here? Come up to the dais and show council member where it's at?
Bain is on Fund 20. Maxwell is only showing on general fund. But the Bain is on. So, Bain, Maxwell, general. So do you want to modify, Tanya? You made the motion?
So do we need to make an amendment to just call out that it's from general fund for Maxwell and not Fund 26?
You
First,
would
let me
amend your
ask, did you
motion.
find Bain Road?
Second the amended motion.
Okay.
Did you find Bain Road?
Page
Yes.
277.
Bain is in Fund 20,
Yes,
but Maxwell is not in Fund 26. It's in the general fund.
because they got transferred, didn't it? Previous budgets. Or was it always?
I'm fuzzy, too many numbers, I don't know.
All right then. Council, all I can say is trust your finance director.
Yes.
So you'll have to.
If she's wrong, we'll dock her pay for it.
Mayor Halsey, I'll amend my motion to clarify that Maxwell is from the general fund.
Very good.
Then I second the amendment.
All right, the motion is made and seconded on item 7E. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, council. 7F, discuss, consider, and act on ordinance vacating and abandoning public utility easements located within the Sweetgrass Phase 1B and Phase 2 subdivision. Mr. Rogers.
And this one, you might, probably want to pull up the picture on there. It is under, I think it's under that very first one. I think there's a picture down at the bottom of that. Maybe in the first one, but I don't remember.
You might scroll down and see if it's there. Could be Sweetgrass 2.
There it is. That kind of gives you an idea. Mr. Tom Dayton is here, who can probably explain this better than I can, but that straight line you see right there, our Buffalo Creek sanitary sewer line easement, when that used to all be a big, huge pasture out there. Well, when they started designing Sweetgrass, they came in and there on Red Cedar and all, they caught that line and took it around and followed the street rather than run through the middle like that. So at that time, that should have been abandoned, that's been how many years ago? Probably 3 or 4 years back. It should have probably been caught and taken care of. It was flat this way, so everything was already set up for it. It just somewhere fell through the cracks and never got done. found it, I guess, when they were closing on a house. Yeah. Yeah, they're waiting to close on a house like any minute now, and they found this, and of course, title company says, no.
So, Mr. Rogers, let me ask a question. You mentioned two, Phase 1B and Phase 2. Is this both Phase 1B and Phase 2?
Yeah, the first part of the line was done during that 1B portion, and then they came back and actually did the laid out the lots in Phase 2 next.
Understood.
And then there's a second easement.
Yeah, there's a little tiny easement on the other one. It's up there at the street, so it's a couple more. Yes, right there, as it comes and turns and crossed over the street. That's where we had a manhole that turned and came across.
Very good. Council, you got any questions about abandoning these easements, that they are not needed? And it allows the builders to sell some home sites.
Yes.
So the other day we were talking about the Buffalo Creek piping and stuff. So where does it go now? Like where's the new, you see it follows the road. So you're just wanting to abandon
Yeah, it
these
follows
easements?
that street around, so that it also picks up all those lots all scattered through there now. So it goes around Red Cedar down there to Greenbrier and then goes back out and catches and follows basically where it's followed all this time.
So there's a new easement along the street. We're just
Yes.
abandoning this one.
The new right of way of the streets where the easement is for the sewer line now.
Okay.
So just confirming, we're pretty much just catching up on paperwork for past decisions?
Yes.
And everything's good with legal? Okay. Oh, shoot, okay. I make a motion to approve ordinance XXX-2026 vacating and abandoning public utility easements located within the Sweetgrass Phase 1B and Phase 2 subdivision.
Motion is made to approve an ordinance vacating and abandoning public utility easements located within the Sweetgrass Phase 1B and Phase 2 subdivision. Is there a second? Is there a second?
Yes, Mayor, I'll second that.
There is a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, council.
Mayor and council. I'm sure Mr. Dayton's happy now.
Item 7G, and Mr. Tucker will need your help up here, is reconsideration of Resolution 11-2026, adopting the City of Haslett elected and appointed officials resolutions policy. And yes, I do. No, it's not.
Why not?
Because he got finished up today. All right, what do I need to do here? Well, it was. Here we go. Here?
Yes. And then down here, you'll see right there where it says. Right,
Here?
one below, right there. Okay, and you can. And. Right there.
That one?
Yes. That'll show.
Right then. Okay, council, I I sent this resolution back with objections, and I would like to present just some of the items on here. It needs to be gone through, I'll say thoroughly, and it's more the language that's used here. This is section 101, item F. It says establish consistent expectations for conduct among all governing bodies, plural. There is only one governing body in the city of Haslett, and it's sitting here. So, just to make a point, not, you know. Here, this has to do with some definitions. It says council member means the mayor and city council. That is actually the governing body. City council are the aldermen of the council. There's 5 aldermen. And here, official means a member of the governing body, not just city council members. So it's a little cleanup of vernacular.
Mayor, while we're on this page, legal, is the terminology incorrect to what he's stating?
So, the purpose of this policy wasn't necessarily to track exactly the terms that are used under local government code. Instead, we used the terms council member in the more colloquial sense so that it includes the entire mayor and any member of the city council. Again, purpose of that was just to clarify that the mayor was subject to all the policies that are applicable to a council member. That was not exactly clear in our existing policy. And again, this is so that anybody who's reading the policy, they may not know what an alderman is, they may not know what the governing body is, but they'll all know what council member means. And so when looked at this policy just internally, just on its own, this terminology is consistent within this policy.
Just a follow-up question for legal. Are we required to match the verbiage used in the legal code, or does the city have the ability to kind of change the verbiage in their policies like we did?
This is okay.
But it does not hurt to be consistent and to be clear, as that mayors in these form now, if it were a city manager council form of government, yes, the mayor is the member of the city council, a voting member. Here, as a council member, that has always been referred to, is the 5 voting members. So it doesn't hurt to be clear about this.
I mean, just...
if I may go on and just, you'll take it for what it's worth and do what you want at the end of it all.
Okay.
This states council members, this is section 2.03, city council members shall exercise the authority granted to them by law. City council members have no authority granted by law, none, no. Now, you do as a body, and that is to be our legislative body.
So if that was changed to governing body, that would be correct?
Yes, you could.
Okay.
The governing body.
Jeremy, can you have input on this as he goes through the items? I want to speak with legal and see where he's at. So can you? Well,
I consider the legislative authority to vote on all matters to be authority granted under the law. So I find the provision to be consistent with state law.
But it says council members, implying individuals. Individual members have no prescribed authority under state statute. That's where I'm coming from.
I don't read it that way, but again, that's up to the council to determine.
So you're saying you view this when you read it as city council members individually, when to me, the way I read it is that it's speaking as the council as a whole exercise the authority granted to them by law.
And I would suggest that that's what is intended, is use the city council or the governing body. when you're speaking of the
That's
whole.
an easy change to go, just to put the word "the." I wanted to make a comment before you continued, because I wanted to be clear. At the last council meeting, I mentioned that I had, or it's implied that I had input. I did send one email regarding our social media guidelines to Mr. Ashton that I had received as on the council from our city secretary, Ms. Buchanan, and that was what my input. So in your objection, it said 2 council members, and so that was, I apologize if that was misunderstood.
Okay, good. I didn't know who authored this. I know that Ms. Babcock is the one that placed it on the agenda as being the author.
Well, we did state in the last meeting that it was authored by myself and with the help of legal, city admin, and city secretary.
Okay.
Is alderman another word for city council? Or I've never heard of that.
A city council member in place of alderman? Fine. This one here, call a special meeting. State statute determines how special meetings are called. State statute alone does that. There's 2 ways. One is the mayor calls a special meeting, or on the request of 3 council people. There aren't any other choices. Here, the use of governing documents, I would ask that you identify what documents. That's a very general term. It's huge. Just for the readers, much of this is for the interest of the public too. They read this. Or new council people, or old council people. Is what governing documents could there be? Let's just be specific. Doesn't hurt. Next item here, conflict of interest. This is 3.01, stating, avoid conduct that creates actual conflict of interest. Conflict of interest has a very specific meaning, and it concerns private real estate ownership. So that's not, I don't think that's what's trying to be said here. So just if, clear that up. Here it is talking about respect for residents, and there's another place that says this, we should strive to educate and inform the residents in understanding city matters, but it says whenever reasonably practical, and I'm saying it's always practical, always, to do that. Here, next one I have, page 13, or this is under Section 501, public meetings. Here is,
Mayor,
a request. Excuse me, madam.
I just wanted to note that this was not changed. This was something that was voted on. Nothing was changed in this section.
But I understand that, but I'm just, I'm reading it. And
Okay, just so you're aware, this was a copy and paste.
I'm not faulting the author or anything, or anything, or the reviewers. It's just, I'm making comment to this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is a request to be heard at the public meeting. I see no reason why we should be asking for a phone number. I know, yes, you could legally do it. I've read opinions about it and interpretations. Well, if you're signing up a week in advance, some cities justify asking for a phone number so we can call you up maybe a couple of days before to confirm you're either going to be there or coordinate that. But when we have people come up here at the time of the meeting and sign up right here in person for the meeting this evening, that we don't need their phone number.
So we could put the word optional in parentheses after that?
I would recommend that instead of as a requirement.
Okay.
16, again, this one has to do with attendance participation by board members. And this says, if you miss 3 consecutive meetings, you are removed. And, or if in our opinion, you're not exhibiting interest in the board's work, that is highly subjective. That is just very subjective. I suggest that is eliminated.
I think that would be like at a parks event, you don't show up for any of the events in a full year to help. That would, I guess, be an example of not
Well, what about
exhibiting.
city council people?
Well, it
I've
just
known
says- it says
city
board.
council people have never shown up for one event throughout an entire year.
This is speaking, it says board member, but it's more
I
like-
worked the
yeah.
foam thing
But-
at the July 4th.
Wait, yeah, I'm sorry.
For many
Did you
hours.
say that no city council has showed up at an event in the past year?
No, I'm saying I know of members that have not shown up for any events. No, I'm not saying I know some city council people do.
This is more saying that if someone is sitting up there, not voting, not contributing, not speaking, then it gives the board the option to remove them. It's just because you show up doesn't mean you're being a contributing member.
Well, I'm just saying it's very subjective. I would advise you to take it out.
That's why we have, it's not one person that can make that decision.
Well, I understand that. You know, you're going to have to vote on this thing. But I would advise you to take it out. It's just way too subjective. Next one here, recommendations, committees, and finals. Okay, it says unless otherwise granted final authority by law or governing documents. What governing documents? Action taken by boards and advisory boards shall be considered recommendations to the appropriate decision-making authority. Well, very specifically, that is the governing body. So I would recommend that we say recommendations to the governing body in lieu of decision-making authority, because people scratch their head in the future and go, well, who's that? Likewise, governing documents. What governing documents? Are you talking about an ordinance or a resolution or bylaws or what document? I'm just for clarity's sake, people understand what is being said here. Again, we use the word governing documents, asking for clarity there for the same reasons. Again, this decision-making authority, that is the governing body. On this one, I'm quite sure I understand what is to be said. This is section 6.12, respect for board recommendations. Recommendations developed by boards, commissions, and corporations. Well, it just says corporations. I'm quite sure whoever wrote this meant the Economic Development Corporations.
So you're saying on this one, just add economic development corporations?
Yes, because I doubt if Hill was going to come in here and submit to you or anybody else, any corporation. Going on down. Says nothing in this policy shall be interpreted as creating a property interest, entitlement, expectation of continued appointment, or right to continued service. I think it's all been covered. I know it has. But I'm thinking that I recommend you just strike this whole sentence. It's just a little out of place. There's no way on God's green earth in any of these statements here we're granting anybody with any property interest. Let's go here. Now there are several sections here. This is all about media and electronic media, and this thing called constituent communication account and campaign accounts and personal accounts. Well, personal accounts and campaign accounts, you know what, those are personal, period. They ain't got nothing to do with the city. But this constituent account, it seems to be implying, well, each council person can have a constituent communication account. And I would urge all to read Government Code Section 551, and particularly 551.006, written electronic communication accessible to the public. There's quite a bit of guidelines there. Here's what's going to happen. And as far as a communication tool to the public, the statute refers to it not as social media accounts. That's nowhere in there, but it is on a, I believe it's a communication board. And that's to be maintained by a staff person. And yes, comments can be made onto it, reply to someone. But there are there are a number of requirements to operate one of these and how that is going to be conducted and who's going to manage it.
Mayor Holsey?
Yes.
When you say campaign use only, are you talking about like a campaign account, like when you're running for an
when you're running for elected office?
But is that considered like after you already, but when you're running and before you're elected, so after you're elected, is that talking about that too?
You can have a campaign account existing throughout your entire tenure as a public official. There are a number of them. I mean, especially when you go into the larger cities, you go into Tarrant County government, you'll go on there, well, I'll use Judge Tim O'Hare. He's got his campaign side up there constantly. So a campaign account has no relationship to the city.
Right.
And a personal account has no relationship to the city. You're on your own. No association with the city at all. But this constituent communication account, I highly recommend that this be given a lot of scrutiny, because this implies that each individual council person can have this constituent account. I don't believe that's correct. There's one, and it's an official city account. It's called a message board under the governing state codes. And there's a number of sections here: communications, official capacity, and responsible communications. All of those comments apply to all of these. Therein lie, I made the recommendation in my letter to you, to the council, my objections. I recommend you have a workshop on this thing, and that this be gone through, and then the city attorney review this in detail and scrutinize it. Otherwise, we're just giving, being specific doesn't hurt, especially when you're in the business of government, and not create confusion. Don't create more questions than what you're answering. So that is what I have to offer. So it's to you, council.
Mayor Halsey,
Yes.
one of your comments in the letter of rejection that you were not able to review the document, but we all received it 6 days prior to the agenda. I like many of the changes you've suggested. I wish we could have talked it out at the last council meeting. I know I brought up the logo needing to be added or requesting to be added.
Yes.
This would have been good to just be a little more proactive, and we could have talked about those things at that time and made those changes when we adopted it.
Well, I agree 100%. I work more than full-time at this job, and I review a lot of other topics as well in detail to catch things such as this. It would be helpful if the city secretary would give me these documents as soon as they come in. I mean, I got it when it was posted.
On Tuesday, so I get 6 days.
So
that's what I
nonetheless,
had
you know,
as well.
I do my very best, and but this is what I have to offer.
Mayor, speak.
Yes, ma'am.
Just so you know, that was the day it was finished. Everyone got it the day it was finished, because we wanted everyone to have as much time as possible to go over the document and for everyone to provide as much feedback as possible. And Jeremy reviewed it numerous times. Jeremy, I wanted to hear from you if there's any of these I mean, anybody can nitpick a document and tear it apart for how they perceive a document. The question is, are there any actual concerns in here or suggestions that you think we really should take in? Because if something he said you think is worth changing, I mean, we should always do it.
Well, I'll talk about the social media account. I think it is important to note that if you have social media account that you are using for governmental purposes through in an official capacity, that is going to be subject to open records requests. So I disagree, though, that it would be classified as an electronic message board that has to be operated by the city. You'll see plenty of other cities will have officials that will have official accounts. But obviously, again, that would be subject to open records requests. And so if you are using that to communicate with constituents or to conduct official business, that's going to be something that would come up in an open records request that we would need to gain access to potentially. And so to the mayor's point, that is something to think about. But otherwise, I disagree that it would be classified under one of those electronic message boards.
So I like some of these changes, but once again, I just saw it right now with you presenting it and wasn't able to, I mean, I'm an English teacher. I'll get my little red pen out and I'll go to town on things. And so I'd like to maybe have a chance to look at it, see some of the changes, talk about what I feel does need to be altered for clarification and what doesn't, is how I feel about it.
It would have been nice to have this when you've had your reconsideration days ago, however many days, besides today, to read these when you asked us to reconsider this last Sunday night at midnight, to send this over, because I'm just now seeing this today. And like Tanya, I think some of these are good. I think some of these we don't need. But to vote on this today, I think I'm agree with Tanya. I think it'd be good for us to look through your stuff. Like I say, some of these are good. But I think it'd been good for us not see this right now.
Oh, I agree, and I just literally finished, now, again, I'm going to qualify, I could have made other comments. This is not all inclusive of any comment that I would make, but these are, I'll say, the bigger examples, but I literally finished what comments I have here. I finished that up at probably about 4:15 this afternoon. I would have loved to have gotten it to you much, much sooner. And when a document like this is generated and to publish it for, 7 days or 6 days in advance of when we're going to have the meeting is not sufficient time. I've got documents out there that's been out there for weeks or months being reviewed and considered.
Mayor Holzman, I would also then extend that same grace that you said earlier. You didn't have it prepared tonight for the citizens to need to bring things, but someone else you said it needed to be brought so the citizens can see it. And so sometimes time constraints do occur.
Sure.
So the same standard needs to be held as much as possible for everybody.
Understood. You had the opportunity here to not readopt or reapprove this and to take it for further review.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I appreciate your work. I think, as some of the other councilmen have said, there's some changes that could, be adopted here. But in other organizations that I've been in, we've struggled sometimes between what is the council's role in this case versus a committee's role. And I think while your information is valuable, I think this may not be the appropriate place to go line by line like you did tonight. I think it would have been better if you just would have said, hey, I didn't like some of these things. Can we have a workshop? Because we just sat through a presentation that this is more committee work, in my opinion, than it is council work. And so if we're going line by line and, well, this needs to be a "the" and this needs to be an "and this needs to be a "this" and this needs to be a "that," I think that's why we keep having these long council meetings, because we get mired down in what I think is more committee work than council work. So I would just encourage us that when we have something like this, if we could refer it out and then have somebody come back with a finished product instead of 6 of us having a discussion over little bitty details and 5 of us having just first seen it 30 minutes ago. I think it would really help us to streamline our meetings and help us help us to focus on the big picture, which is what council's supposed to do.
That is, that's very good.
Thank you.
I like that suggestion.
Mayor.
And you have that opportunity to do that right now.
Mayor. So
Yes.
that's exactly what was done. We went to where it wasn't all trying to be done in front of council and went to the city employees and went to the city attorney and the city administrator, the people that you put your faith in and supported and worked on this. He can tear apart any document you guys put up here. There can be any small errors where people view differently on the opinions, but just remember that not passing or reaffirming this document today means that none of this goes into effect. Am I correct, Jeremy?
It wouldn't go into effect until it was formally adopted.
So that means the protections that were put in here for people that work in this city and the protections and the limitations that were put in there to also keep us moving forward and divide those lines between council and mayor, the longer we take on this, the longer those lines aren't there. So, and it doesn't mean we can't modify anything, but I don't feel like any of the changes he's requesting tonight are that important to stop the defining of those roles. That is my opinion. Because the main part of this document, the most important part, is protecting the city employees and the power that we're giving to the city administrator and the mayor and ourselves.
I appreciate what you're saying, but there's nothing in here. In fact, it starts out, this document does not apply to city employees. So I don't know where you're coming from on that.
It protects them.
It doesn't say anything about city staff.
It says how you're to treat them.
Well, okay, respectfully. But you have this opportunity, and just out of curiosity, so how long were whoever it was that was working on this, city staff and whomever else, how long, I mean, was this done in a day, or has this been worked on for weeks? How long did y'all take to do this document?
What, about 6 weeks?
6
Maybe
weeks.
total from my start, and then we had a single meeting, and then it was back and forth and emails to clean it up.
And I never knew anything about it.
Did you?
You didn't think I'd have anything to offer? You don't think, I'm part of the governing body, is my point.
Yep.
And this is not quote-unquote transparent process
I'm allowed to
that you
speak
took.
to one person. I'm allowed to speak to one person. And I had technically already brought it up. She wasn't a part of the process, but I told Tanya it was something that I was passionate about, which meant I could no longer talk to anybody else about it.
You could talk to the mayor anytime. I don't count as that
Actually, per
daisy
you
chain.
told me that I have to set up a meeting and I'm not to stop by your office because that's like stopping by someone's house. Quote
Well,
you.
right. I mean, it's very convenient. Hey, Mayor, I need to meet with you. Or, Mayor, here's this document. Take a look at it. You could always do that.
Ms. Wise, was this document, was this like created from scratch, or was this, so do we already have something, y'all just modified
The
it?
council relation, or the, I forget the old name of the document, council relations, we had an old document.
Okay.
It was extremely outdated. I started by redlining it, and the red line was so significant, it became difficult to read. And so that's when I completely restarted it. And then I got kind of a base, and then I gave it to Joe, Jeremy, and Crystal for them to add in all the things and also nix out anything they hated. There was a lot of items that they wanted to add in. And then we did that initial review, and then it went back and forth between some things Crystal wanted, some things Jeremy needed me to change, and it was finalized.
But again, I'm going to point out there was no consideration given for the mayor. And I think one of the goals of this thing is something about up and purpose, about established standards of professionalism, integrity,
Not including
transparency,
Yeah, there is
accountability
transparency. Nothing
with
in this-
respect to serving individuals in elected and appointed
Correct.
positions.
That does not anywhere say that I have to include you in every single project I do.
Well, you haven't on any of them yet.
I've tried to include you several times.
Oh, yeah. No, you haven't.
I have not been to your office to talk about the bridges, the roads,
You
anything.
insist on dropping by, and twice you visited. and it was over 30 minutes a visit. And though I was in the middle of something, you know, I make up that time. I work later at night. I'm not complaining, but I'm just asking, give me some consideration too.
Let's just bring it back to the agenda
that'd be
item.
great.
So this item is to you for your reconsideration and what action you would like to take going forward.
If we reconsider, if we continue, if we keep it, and then at a later date, can we bring it to the next council meeting with possible changes so that it's still in effect and while we are going through the red lines? And
So if you want to approve it as originally drafted and as it was approved at the last meeting, you would just approve it. If you don't want to approve it tonight, you can table it to the next meeting or a different date. Or you can, if you don't want to approve it at all, you would just disapprove it and then it wouldn't come back. But you can always approve something and then request that it come back at a future meeting as well to make further edits.
because I was kind of, even at the last meeting, I suggested something to be added.
Yes, the logo use, and so that's in the works.
Some sort of verbiage, so that even itself is not currently
That will probably be a
this.
separate policy, and
Okay.
they'll probably live outside of this elected officials policy, but we can certainly bring it back.
You know, I would recommend to consolidate, just like we did in the county, you know, this budget and accounting and things like that, to try to consolidate these certain things that apply to, you know, policy. Council member, here's what you can do and what you can't, is into one document. So unless you're aware, well, I've got to go to this one document for this and another document for that and another document for something else. If it can be consolidated, that would be very good. There's one place to go so council people and appointed officials know where to go and
Mayor.
address it. That'd be my recommendation on that.
I just want to ask Jeremy, is there a reason why you wouldn't include her logo request in this document?
Because it would be a policy not just for elected officials, but also for staff and members of the public and anybody else that may want to use our logo. Again, we can incorporate it by reference or anything like that.
Yeah, so
it also, I haven't, in all honesty, I haven't started it, so I could change my mind. You know? But as of now, that was the initial thought.
Could we at least, if they vote to approve it and we come back with amendments, can we plan that far enough away to where you can finish that and you can reference that document in here, if that makes sense, and kind of do a brief summary of that logo policy?
Yeah, if we want to bring this back at the September meeting, that should be sufficient time.
But the only way to make it an active living document is to approve and then amend. We can't table.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
is there a way that tomorrow the city council and staff could get a copy of your red line that you just showed us, since we just saw this?
Absolutely.
since
I'll
we
be
just-
happy. But, and
I'm still talking.
I will type a disclaimer on there, is that this is not all-inclusive. These comments, these are more representative throughout the entire document.
I just don't feel like, I don't feel prepared to approve the red lines yet, because I feel like I need to.
Oh,
I need to read this. I need to read the red lines to find out which ones I think would be good and which ones I think we could go without.
Oh, I'm not
So-
asking you to approve these red lines. Just reconsider the whole document.
Okay, well, I'm asking if we can have a copy of this tomorrow.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
And if it was reconsidered, we still have an acting city or public relations
Yeah, we have it
policy.
currently.
We have a current one,
Is
okay.
the council relations policy. So if
So
you
there
were
would
to
still be
disapprove
something
this
in
one
place.
tonight, that would still be in place.
It does not create the boundaries for the city administrator, the mayor, or the boundaries that, for example, no city official can just go into meetings. That was put in this policy, that you can't just attend the meetings. Before, it was only for council. This cleared it up. That was for mayor and council. You have to be invited to meetings. That is part of this policy.
I mean, I would like to bring this back and with some chances to, I mean, it's a living document. We can change it at any time. So we have reconsidered the mayor's objection, correct?
Could we maybe approve it as is, but ask for a small committee to go back through it to make any pertinent changes so that we have something updated, because the old version is how old, Jeremy?
2012.
Yeah, so the old one is 14 years old, and a lot of things have changed since 2012. There are some good updates in this. It's not a perfect document. It has maybe some little tweaks that need to happen. But I think the majority of it is in good faith. So I would be for voting to approve
Would
it.
you like to make a motion?
We're having a discussion, aren't we?
Well, make a motion, and then you can have a discussion, but I guess I did, to say, well, I would vote this way, and then someone, well, I would vote this way. Well, how about just make your motion and see if anybody votes for it?
Well, right now we're discussing your presentation.
Yeah,
We're not discussing a motion, we're discussing your presentation.
please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. So anyway, my personal opinion, we can do whatever, but I just think we could maybe go ahead and approve this as we had it, and then, but ask some reconsideration, like some additional tweaks to happen in the next, I don't know, pick a time frame.
And I have no problem working on whatever you guys need, or if you guys want someone else. I mean, I don't think we really need to form a committee unless you guys are wanting outside opinion, but I can work with them. I can work with Tanya if she's got the time. I know school year's
Well, that would be
about.
the committee. Yeah, he's talking about like only
Oh,
two of us could serve on a committee. You can't have three, but we
Oh,
could.
so he's talking about a council committee.
That's what you're referring to, correct?
However, yeah, I mean,
You and
clearly,
somebody else
clearly the
can get
mayor would
together and
like to
work
have
on
some
this.
input, so maybe include him at least on some emails or some, loop him in on some communications, but I know
Tanya,
he's
would you
very
have the
busy
time?
and maybe he doesn't have time to do all the legwork. but
Tanya
you
says
could
she
run it
has-
by him.
Yeah, I'd be
Tanya says she
happy
has
to
the
serve
time.
on
I
that.
would like to be included.
Right, yeah.
Can I be included?
That's what Mr. Crowthers just said, yes.
Yeah, but would you do that?
Sounds good.
As long as you schedule it with me.
Would you, you just email it to me and say, review this?
Yes.
Thank you. We all heard her say yes.
Okay, so do we need a motion, or are we just good
We
with
need
that?
a motion.
All right, I make a motion that we, after reconsideration, we have decided to approve the council relations policy as previously, elected and appointed officials relations policy as previously presented, with the expectation that a small committee will review it for further adjustments in the coming month.
Weeks.
Coming weeks.
I actually follow that up. August is kind of hectic, especially for her and me.
September
It's
would be-
probably
That's
going
fine.
to be September,
Yeah,
late
whatever.
September, early
Yeah.
October would,
And the group to
guess.
include 2 council members
Tanya.
that also, Tanya and Jasmine, and also to communicate regularly with the mayor, Joe, Jeremy, and Crystal, so that we get a full comprehensive review and all tweaks are, whether they're material or not, at least we all agree on them, and we can all come back and finalize this at a later date.
All right, I'm
Everybody good
going
with
to
that?
try to
That's a very long one.
condense.
Great. I'm trying to draw a circle here.
We like little circles. All right,
Clearly, this
motion
needs
is
to be a
made
bigger one.
upon reconsideration is to approve this document as presented,
Yes.
and to form a subcommittee consisting of Mayor Pro Tem Tanya Morrow and Council Member Jessica Wise.
Jasmine.
Jasmine. You knew what I meant. Thank you. And that,
Joe Ashton, Jeremy Page, and Crystal Babcock.
and is the mayor included in that subcommittee?
And you. Yes, sir.
And, okay, inclusive of city attorney Jeremy Page, Joe Ashton, Crystal Babcock, and the mayor, Gary Halsey, as that subcommittee. And did I get that right? I got all the bases covered?
Well, you gave all of the titles except for one.
Who?
You also want to put a time frame too. You said in the next
In the
couple
coming
months.
weeks.
Next, in the next coming month or two, is, I heard it, nothing specific, within the next month or two.
I think you missed city secretary and city administrator for the titles, but yes.
City secretary, and I have a hard time, and you understand city administrator, but I did mention his name.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a second?
Mayor, I'll second that.
There's a second. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, council.
Gosh, dang.
Mayor, oh,
Executive session. City Council reserves the right to adjourn into executive session during the course of the meeting to seek legal advice from its attorney regarding any item on the posted agenda as authorized by Section 551071 of the Texas Government Code. Additionally, pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, City Council may adjourn an executive session in accordance with the authority contained under Section 551.072. Very specifically, we'll be addressing conveyance of community facilities property. So at this time, I will recess the open meeting for the executive session. It's 8:53 p.m. And if you will meet me in the boardroom, council,
9 o'clock.
at
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. I have 8:53. That gives us 7 minutes.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
We're still good for Wednesday morning?
We are. I just wanted to get a little clarification.
Okay.
So I know how to go into Wednesday. So I'm trying to figure out, should I make a constitution or tie that talks about the framework? Because when I say SOPs, it's really like,
let me send you the link. I would go ahead and have them registered.
There's some of those things in there, it looks like it does need to be updated some more, but it's committee work, that's why we're here. It's actually very time for a regular session.
Yeah, nearly. All right, so the code is. Invite 2020.
Good? Sir, how are you doing, sir? I'm doing great. He's making a nice one. He's doing good. Now he looked
And he's the public works supervisor.
File this ordinance that we abandoned the easement. Pardon? Jeremy doesn't need to sign these. Just yours and the date. Couldn't afford to live in
I think the title company's probably gonna wanna see the document.
Now that, let him know it's not technical. Yeah, I don't know how we would capture that though.
Would they have to use their city emails to make Facebook?
That still wouldn't matter. People can add stuff in there without it feeding to their
That's the one capture control the city's one right now. Do we have something that we pay for a service that backs up the city?
Then I don't know. That's not through us. We don't do any social media stuff when it comes to backups and such.
Yeah, because my fire department is not backed up, and I've been trying to figure out if I need to get it backed up due to these.
I would say yes, but I would tell you, I know Double Oak has one for their town, and they have one for their police department. And I'll have to look. I don't know if any of that's backed up because I don't manage. They have somebody kind of manages their social media stuff.
I've been told, like, if you allow people to comment, you can never delete a comment. You can, like, as long as it's not profane.
Yeah.
Like, but Facebook edits that stuff. And I've been told that once you post it, it's there for life. You can't edit it. You can't.
Yeah, I don't know all the policies there. I know we don't manage any of that social media stuff. I just don't have any way to manage that. Now, emails and things within your 365 tenant, yeah, I can back all that up, but not social or not Facebook or Indeed or anything like that.
That's gonna have to be, I'll have to ask Katrina again, because she's the one that, she always tells me that there's something that backs up.
I think I have all them. I was making sure I had all the mics off. I believe I do.
Yeah, she was just telling me there's something that backs up the city's Facebook.
Yeah, then I don't know. I don't even have a login yet on Facebook.
Yeah, I just assumed, well, I assumed it was a service you third party sold to us, honestly. Like, not something you manage, just a third party.
No, not through us. I'm wondering if it's through Facebook.
It should be. Are you getting any sound? Oh, it's on.
All right, well, I muted it to the go-to. Oh, mine is on. On.
Getting anything
Test here. Well, the meter's not enabled. Test, test, test.
Forget, Zach, don't forget.
I resume the open session at 9:34 p.m. All the council are present. There is no action to be taken from resulting from the executive session. You see the future agenda items before you that's coming up, not necessarily next meeting, but they are in the near future. Is there any questions about any of that? Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I sent an email out to you yesterday.
Understood. And we'll respond to that in the morning. I see, I'm going to check with staff and everybody. There's more than just a couple. I got to make sure everybody can make it at before I say yes. Okay?
Okay. I just wanted to remind you. I just wanted to remind in case you haven't seen the email. I just wanted to bring it up.
Understood.
Thank you.
Understood.
Mayor Halsey, for a future agenda item, I know there's still that citizen request on Hugh White for a speed hump, but I'm not sure what's happening with that. If there's, can we get an update on how that's moving
understood.
along?
We'll get that.
And then also the possible, I may get with Mr. Asham about this, possible strategic plan workshop coming out of a budget. So those are the two
Understood.
items. Thank you.
So, Ms. Babcock, you got the White Lane
Yes, sir, I have it.
and
all
a
the items.
strategic plan associated with that's in
Yes,
the new
I have
budget.
it.
All right. I adjourn this meeting at 9:35 p.m. Thank you. Thank you all for coming.
This conference is no longer being recorded.